This is the Chrysler Pacifica. Now you can get the Voyager, but it's this platform here that I want to talk about. So here's what's unique about the powertrain on the Pacifica. You have a 3.6 liter V6. The Honda, as well as the Kia, offered a 3.5 liter V6, but again, about the same horsepower. This is rated for 287 horsepower, just like the Kia Carnival was. And you have 280 on the Odyssey. So we're talking about the same thing here. Now, the Odyssey, remember, was a 10-speed automatic transmission. The Carnival was an 8-speed automatic transmission. And the Sienna, now, I forgot to mention, that is an eCVT paired to that hybrid-only option on that Sienna. So here on the Chrysler Pacifica, again, we are back to a real transmission being offered with a 9-speed. So we've seen an 8-speed, a 9-speed, and a 10-speed. Guys, these are what I'm talking about, these intricacies that you may overlook between these minivans, but that are going to affect the driving experience. And the driver is the one spending the most time in this vehicle, so those things matter. So they do offer a hybrid here. Now, what makes this different than the last two hybrid options are, this is actually a plug-in hybrid. What that means is it's not just a simple hybrid system where the electric and the gas-powered parts of the car are sharing duties, but you can plug in the vehicle and run only on electric power for a short commute. That is something to think about. Again, those are the powertrains. We've talked about that. What separates the powertrains of all of them, they're all going to drive different, right? Remember, if you get hybrid power, that tends to add more weight. Think about that. But have you noticed how the insides of these vehicles all have something that differentiates them from the other three? And it's just a little bit different thinking, and I kind of like that. I like those choices. So let's check out the second and the third row in this particular Chrysler Pacifica. All right, once again, we have found ourselves in the second row. You're saying, what is going to happen now? Because as you've seen, the second rows are all different on all of these vehicles. Now, if you choose the hybrid option on the Pacifica, you are not going to get the feature that I am about to show you, because what comes with a hybrid is a large battery. They got to put that somewhere, so they put that in the floor. Now, if you do not get the hybrid, you can get a stow and go option. That's what they call it. Now, they're actually celebrating and bragging about the 20th anniversary of the stow and go option. And that is just what it sounds like. Not only does the third row go into the floor, but the second row also goes into the floor. And I'm going to do my best to show you how this works. Now, you will have to pull this middle section out, much like we did in the Honda Odyssey, and set it elsewhere, in your garage or somewhere at your house, and leave it there. But the two captain's chairs on either side actually go all the way down into the floor. Check this out. Now, we go here to the white strap, go like this, and we go all the way down into the floor. Completely flat floor. Now I'll go put the third row down. All right, here in the third row of the Pacifica, the back seats work a little bit different, but you do have the straps, right? But the way that you're gonna put them down is this one down here. They collapse into the floor just like that. What I want you to imagine though is having to carry something huge in here, and all you have to take out and store is that middle section in the second row. That's it. That's the only thing you have to pull out of here. Everything else folds down into the floor, and that is fantastic. Or you can get the hybrid, but you can't store the second row of seats in the floor, only the third row. A little thing unique to the Pacifica is it's the only one without the closing button up here. It's actually on the side over here, so they're thinking about the driver being over here hitting it and then heading off toward the driver's door. Here we are with the Chrysler Pacifica, and what I want to tell you about this final vehicle is, first of all, if you have watched our other video comparing the interiors of these things, that stow and go seating is second to none. That is very cool. And actually here at this event, they've been having a competition to see who can take a bunch of stuff out of the vehicle and stow and go all the seats and put it in and move things around and do the stow and go seats has been like a little race, and it's been fun to watch journalists go after that and try to do that. But truly this vehicle is unique with that setup back there. But again, let's talk about what this is going to be like to drive. There are some specific things about this minivan that I really like, and they kind of all have to do with the driving experience. First off, this one here is the V6. This is a 3.6 liter V6 paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. So again, here we have a real automatic transmission like the Honda and like the Kia. But with that 6-cylinder, again, I'm going to harp on it again, good, predictable, linear power band when you are driving the vehicle. If you are sick of hearing me harp on that, I'm telling you, if you drive these vehicles back to back, you will notice there's a difference in the way that each of them deliver power, and this goes to your driving preferences. Now, with the V6 in this one, there is no hybrid powertrain. You have room for those stow and go seats. Let me remind you that if you get the hybrid version of this vehicle, you cannot get the stow and go seats because they've got to put that battery under the floor. So this one, yes, is available in hybrid, but you do lose that kind of extra unique option. Now remember, Chrysler will remind you, they started the minivan game many decades ago, right? And they're still here, so they know what they're doing with this. And this particular minivan, the latest Pacifica, is still great to drive, and there's some things about it that kind of are a nod to and let you know that, like, hey, we've done this before, we know how to play the minivan game, and we're really good at it. And there's little quirks about it that kind of tell you that when you're driving it. I'm anxious to show you that, so let's get out on the road. I'm going to tell you what this thing is like to drive. Now, first thing right off the bat I like about this is the V6 in this feels really good to drive. It's very responsive at low speeds, and then you get up to high speeds and the power is good, I will tell you that. So when I start pushing that right pedal, it's ready to go, and the engine sounds good. I like that the engine has a little bit of a growl here on the Pacifica. Maybe that's not something at all you care about in the minivan. Let me assure you, it's not like overwhelmingly loud. You're not going to wake the neighbors up when you start it or anything like that. It's not a hot rod, but when you are driving it, you can hear it, and you can hear that it's responding. So let me tell you the second thing that I really like about the Pacifica, and I think there is probably quite a few people who would not agree with me. I don't care. I really like these gauges. Now, this is a 2025 and it's a very high trim level vehicle. You would think, oh, it's going to have a digital gauge cluster. It doesn't. It has analog gauges. Not only does it have analog gauges, but they are very good to look at. It is kind of difficult to go with an extreme color on some analog gauges and it be okay. And they've done it here. These are beautiful blue gauges. They are great to look at, and when you glance down, you know exactly what you're doing, and you look right back up, eyes on the road, and you still have a good digital screen in the middle. It's going to show you your speed digitally if you want that, right? But the analog gauges that it's maintained on the sides, I think are excellent. I personally like a really good set of analog gauges in front of my eyes. And today, it's a lot easier for a lot of auto brands to just give you a screen, give you digital, and yeah, you can customize them and make them look all different kinds of ways sometimes. And you know, you change drive modes in a vehicle, and the gauges change colors and all that stuff. I mean, that's great. I mean, like, that's cool, but I really like a really good, solid looking set of gauges. Think about it like this. Think about a really good looking watch, all right? That smartwatch that you have is gonna be somewhere that you don't even care or know about in a few years. It may be lost somewhere in a box in your house, and you're not gonna care because you got a new smartwatch, right? Think of a really sharp, really good looking analog watch, right? And all the watches that are worth a lot of money these days are all that way, because they're aesthetically pleasing to look at, and of course because of their movements and the way they function. So this is kind of like, and I'm getting nerdy here, it's just the minivan and it's just gauges, but Analog gauges are kind of like that. If you can do really good looking analog gauges, you can get buyers that buy your vehicle and look at them and are never going to have a thought like, oh, I wish they would update those to a screen. If they're good and they're done well, you're never going to have people think that. And I would prefer to keep these analog gauges that are on the Pacifica. They are very good looking. There are some analog gauges that don't look good. These look good. All right, I'm done talking about the gauges because some of you just simply may not care. I like them. So you still get good tech in here, all right? When I say there are some old school things about some of these minivans, this is a great example. You can have analog gauges, but you still have great new modern tech over here. The way that they do the screen over here is excellent, okay? Chrysler, Stellantis, the corporation has done some really good infotainment recently, and this is no exception. Now, one of the things that makes it great is it's specific to just doing the functions you want to do in the screen, mainly while you've kept the HVAC out of the screen. I love that. They've kept it out. They've kept it down here with the buttons. I get in the Pacifica, I go to drive it for the first time, and I'm instantly wanting to adjust the air and whatnot, and it's so easy for me to figure out. I glance down once and I got it, and I'm adjusting things, right? I've had other minivans, the Kia is really bad about this. The controls are not simple, and you're driving down the road and you're like, I'm hot or I'm cold, I forgot to adjust things, and you're having to do a lot of looking down to figure out, how do I adjust all this? Because it's either touch screen or it's haptic feedback and not a real button or something of that nature, and that is terrible. That's a huge turnoff for me. So if you can keep good buttons in here, especially for important things like your HVAC and your volume, and I have a volume knob and a tuning knob and all my HVAC buttons, it's awesome. My auto start stop button is physical here, my traction control button, all of that is great. Now, do you have a dial shifter? So again, there are pieces of each of these 4 minivans that I would love to take and put together and make my own super minivan, right? And I would take the shifter out of that Toyota Sienna because I like a good manual shifter. And this interior on this Pacifica is honestly a good manual shifter away from being just right for me and exactly what I like inside of an interior, because it's good, it's functional, it's easy to figure out, it's easy to just get in and drive and use. All right, the other thing I'm going to say, this V6 responds really well to driving. You knew I was going to say it. So my inputs on this are excellent. If I want to go down and get passing power, it doesn't feel like it's confused. It doesn't feel like the transmission doesn't want to do it, but it's reluctantly allowing you to have power. It's none of that. If you want to go down and get power, this engine and this transmission are like, okay, let's go down and get power and pass somebody. So I'm cruising along here at 40 miles an hour, and I'm coming up on somebody, I would like to pass them really quick. I'm going to look over, signal, put the power down. Oh, it's solid. It responded exactly how I knew it would, even though this isn't the car that I own and drive every day. I knew how it was going to respond because I can tell from just driving it for a few minutes the way the transmission and the engine work together. Having something predictable is really important. So again, I'm going to wrap this thing up with all 4 of these minivans, but I really want you to think about how they drive, because you are the one who's going to be driving these all the time. And when you think about all the technology and all the safety systems these vehicles have, they've got everything from adaptive cruise control to airbags all around the place, and collision impact warnings and automatic emergency braking, and all of those things, yes, make it safer, but something that is a safety factor you may not be thinking about is how controllable is the vehicle. And for you as a driver, if you are suddenly find yourself in an emergency stopping situation or emergency accelerating situation, right? And that starts with its predictability and how it feels. So this vehicle does not feel heavy for a minivan to drive around. That regardless of what it weighs, it doesn't drive heavy. The power delivery is good. I want my power to be predictable because I'm going to be able to safely put myself in the spaces on the road and in traffic that I want to be and I'm going to be able to put myself there when I want to put myself there. And that is exactly what I'm looking for in a powertrain. Hey there, I'm excited that you found Drive It Out. Beyond the specs, it really matters how a car feels from behind the wheel. That feeling is what makes us keep and truly enjoy a vehicle for a long time. We're sharing great driving experiences we think you'll love and encourage you to get hands-on with as many cars as you can. It's been a joy doing this for so many years now and a blessing meeting and working alongside so many amazing people. Whatever type of vehicle you're interested in, chances are we have a video for that. If you're a subscriber, thank you. It means the world to me. If not, thanks for being here now, and I hope you'll check out the other videos on the channel. If there's something you don't see, feel free to reach out in the comments or visit driveitout.com/contact to send us a message.